you charged a lower number and you go do that party, you're just going to be regretting it. The amount of work that I'm putting into it is this amount, not this amount. There's one thing that I have kind of neglected sometimes is my...
Some bartenders pour drinks, others build brands. And today's guest, he's doing both. You probably know him as Cocktails by Hop. The mohawk, the vibe, the presence.
This is the question that everyone wants to know.
Yep. What advice would you give bartenders that are trying to build a personal brand?
Be yourself. If you're being somebody else, then you're gonna have to continue that persona all throughout your journey as your brand.
If you ever wondered how to go from bartender to brand, this episode's for you. Let's get into it. This is Behind the Mobile Bar.
Punchy.
Punchy. You just like knock him out.
Dramatic.
TKO.
So much drama.
And you're like changing it up on us because I was like, okay, am I?
And you know what? I put some emphasis on that. I said presence.
That's the episode right there. Cut it, ship it out.
Ship it out. Let's go.
Bar to brand.
Dude, Saeed, man, what's up, man?
So excited to have you, man.
Yes.
You're here, bro.
All the way in the IE.
We're
I
excited.
know it's different out here.
Yeah.
It's different out here.
Yeah, no,
nice,
this
though.
this
Crossing
is great,
state
dude.
lines.
I know he drove. Next time we're just gonna get flights for people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just LAX to Ontario.
Like Taylor
Flying
Swift,
in.
just from like
Oh
one
my
city
god!
to
I
another.
just saw that. Yeah.
Right. No, that's awesome, y'all. But hold on. We, of course, with Saeed being here, we had to have him make a cocktail, right? So we're not just gonna have him come over here and not make a cocktail.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Saeed, man, what are we drinking here, big guy?
This is the
gracias.
Ponche Sangria. Inspired by my lovely fiance. She was like, you need to make a sangria. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it. So she's gonna love it when she hears this. She's like, told you so.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, a Blanco tequila, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, lime juice, a ponche syrup that I made from scratch for like I found this like punch mix at the Mexican market, and I was like, I'm gonna try to make this into a syrup. And it turned out very great. I just acid adjusted a little bit with some malic acid, so it had that. It retained that apple tartness, and then instead of like a club soda or tonic water, I used a pineapple soda. So
Wow.
very passion fruit forward, pineapple forward, green apple, like just like crisp, great notes. I don't know. It's just like one of those drinks that you could like. I don't know, have like 10 of these by a pool.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes,
You're not
please.
standing.
Yes,
Cheers,
please.
and cheers.
Well, cheers,
y'all.
everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Nails match Saeed.
Hell yeah.
My nails do match, Saeed. Check it. Do we get this, Nate? Or are we
That's it.
nice? Bam.
Hey.
Great
Let's
mark.
see.
Hey, dude, this is.
It's so like
Oh my gosh.
dangerous.
This is I see what you
delicious.
mean.
It's
Like you
dangerous.
can have 10 of these and
be fucked up.
be like, damn,
Well, that too. Yeah.
But
where am I?
That's what that this by
is
a
fancy.
pool.
it's amazing.
It's
But it's also like the
vacation.
mouthfeel on it, though. Like it's a little, like, did you put bubblies in here?
Just the soda. pineapple
Just the soda, but it's like I feel like I'm not getting like any sparkling. Like what you did to it, it's just smooth.
And it's great. It's light,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like, and so when you said pool, and obviously you're the mixologist, right? But like,
Dang, that's
I
good.
love a light, easy to drink. That's what allows me to keep on drinking. If something heavy,
Right.
I have to sip it.
Right.
This, it's not gonna last.
I mean,
5 minutes.
They're getting spoiled today.
Yeah.
Don't get used to it.
To be fair,
This
it
is
is an ounce and
fancy.
a half of tequila and 2 ounces of wine, so it's like not.
Should have told me that before I tried it.
But I like what I like about it is that like you really it hits this back here because of the tartness.
Yes.
It's like I don't know. I like cocktails like that where it's like
Oh, this
nice
is
and tart.
delicious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? Where are we?
Yeah. We're on vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Welcome to Saeed's Island.
Let's do it.
Talking about
Hawk
Saeed's Island, man. Like, dude, you have a very interesting story. First of all, we just want to thank you for coming out here. Like,
Stoked to
that's
be here.
It's real shit, man. Because, right, it's a mission to get here. If anybody knows anything about Southern California, LA, it's like you go from one city to the next. It takes a minute. So you came out here on a Monday to
Had
come
to do
hang
it.
out with us, which we appreciate. But also, dude, your story is so amazing, and I know that, like, sometimes telling your own story could be like, it is what it is. It's my story, so is it that special? But like, I think for some of the folks that watch, it truly is very interesting, man. So I'd love to start talk to us about Saeed for a little bit. Like, just where did this whole thing start? I know that
Sounds like a
obviously
therapy question.
bartending.
Tell us about
You're
Saeed.
right. I know bartending's involved, but like, you're into music. You're like all this stuff. Would love to hear it, man.
Yeah. So it's origin story. Pretty much born in LA, raised in San Diego. Went to college in the Bay Area for audio engineering. Got my bachelor's in that. Met Chelsea, my now fiance, and while I was working at a nightclub in San Francisco called Temple Nightclub, it's still there. I was actually running their music label for a little bit called Temple Music Group, but I also needed to make more money. So she got me my first bar backing job at a bar called Cantina. At the time when it shuttered down, it became Pacific Cocktail Haven. And then Pacific Cocktail Haven moved to like literally 2 doors down because it burned down. That one burned down.
That's in the city?
In San Francisco. Yeah.
Got it.
And so yeah, then I was seeing how these bartenders move and making these craft cocktails and stuff like that. It was just so cool, and I was like, this is dope. And me being like a creative person who likes to work with their hands, it's like, I want to get into this. This looks really awesome. So I started there for a little bit, and then I moved over to another bar in Emeryville called Prize Fighter. Another great bar. If you guys are ever in the Emeryville, Berkeley area, still there. They also just opened up a bottle shop, so that's good for them. But yeah, again, seeing how these bartenders move and like craft cocktails looks dope. I want to do this because Chelsea at the time, she was bartending as well.
Okay.
Chelsea's been a bartender for about she was a bartender for about, I think she did like 14, 13 years.
No way.
So she'd been a bartender, so she will throw this in my face all the time, being like, I got you to where you are now. And just saying,
Look at you now.
Because of me.
Exactly.
Because of me. I did this.
Yeah.
She created a monster. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you, Chelsea.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, but just seeing how these guys move was amazing, and so at the time, then we kind of we were like, maybe we should move to LA so I can pursue music more and go down that path. But then we moved to LA. I came here first. Just to kind of get the settled in, situated, and
she was cool with that, with going to LA.
Yes.
Did she have a desire to go, or
I think we were just like, you know what? She had been in the Bay Area all her life, and I think wanting to do something different was like, maybe it's time for a change. So we did that. We took a leap.
I wish I was like that. I'm too like safe.
Right.
I'm a chicken shit, was what it is. Yeah.
I can be too.
Yeah.
But I just felt like we had to go down. So came down, and then I got a job at Lucky Strike. Now, Lucky Strike is nothing near the bars that I was working at as far as
craft and all that
different
stuff. Yeah.
environment.
Yeah. But it's a good
So,
experience.
It's a great experience because you need to have that. You got to be in all different facets of the bar industry.
Right.
Was it the one in downtown LA?
No, in Hollywood.
Okay.
So Hollywood and Highland, that's where we're at.
Man, that's a busy location.
Yeah. But I wanted so as I was bar backing there, I was like, they let me play around bartend like a little bit, and then eventually I did start bartending. But one of the things I was doing when I was there is I was so infatuated with making cocktails, and so I was trying to make craft cocktails with a 3 Olives grape or 3 Olives bubblegum, just not your typical flavors that you fuck around with. But I was just I wanted to do that, and I made it work somehow.
Wow.
I figured it out a little bit, and I feel like if you can mix things like that and make it taste great, then I feel like you might have something.
Right.
So,
Yeah. You're adventurous.
I just like to. It's just trial and error, right? Just a lot of messing around, and then if it works, it works. If not, let's go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
So, and then all that time, I was trying to find a job in the music industry, and it is not what you know; it's who you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so those doors weren't opening.
So what were you trying to do in the music industry?
I was trying to do
production
A&R,
or
A&R. At the time, as much as I loved being in the studio, I was like, if I could find a way to get into a studio, I was applying for engineering jobs too, but it's just nothing was happening, nothing was opening. So I was like, all right, bartending it is. So I'm still doing this at one point I had an internship for another DJ, and it was just not what I expected because it's like it was doing a lot of things that I didn't really want to do and didn't really see the benefit of me interning for this person.
Like running to go get their coffee and lunch.
Just doing street team promo stuff. And I'm like, I feel like I'm past this because I was doing street team at one point and the nightclub before I started doing stuff. So I was like, I had that, even though I had that experience, it's like I kind of feel like I'm past this. So then continued to just bar back and then eventually bartend. And then I started posting my cocktails recipes on Instagram.
Were you still at Lucky Strike at this point?
Lucky Strike and Mrs. Fish. So I had picked
Oh,
up
Mrs.
another-
Fish.
picked up
That's-
a job. Yeah.
So your transition from barback, because that's a big one. The transition from barback to actually get your chance. Now you're like, I'm full on bartender. That happened at Lucky Strike.
Yes, started there, and then after that happened, then I applied at Mrs. Fish, got a job there. So now I was doing 2 jobs, bartending, and
Which is pretty common.
which is great because at the time Mrs. Fish was like very nightclubby, and so it was very high volume, fast paced. And while Lucky Strike can be that, it's still a little bit more divey and just like not as chaotic as Mrs. Fish was. So I had 2 different styles of bartending. One to work on your speed, and then one to work on your like customer service and whatnot. So started posting my started getting crafty at home, making stuff, posting recipes. And then I'll never forget the day where I, at my next job, which was going to be Now Boarding, which is now shut down, but it's also in West Hollywood. It was an airplane-themed bar. I met Tipsy Bartender.
Oh, okay.
And Tipsy Bartender was filming something there at the bar, if it's like for a show or whatever. And he was like, I'm doing this series of, mixologists coming on my page or my platform to make craft cocktails because typically he doesn't really make craft cocktails.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little new thing for him.
Yeah.
So that
He's great, by the way.
he is doesn't get the credit and love that he deserves.
I
He's
know.
so cute. And some of that stuff he makes is just
incredible.
insane.
His
Yeah.
energy.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's entertainment is what he's selling. I mean,
Yeah.
are people gonna make the things that he's making? Maybe, maybe not.
Right.
I'll be
It's the
completely
right party.
honest. But but I will say he's found himself a niche market because you're always gonna have that college student that's like,
Yeah.
I need to do this for our next
Yeah.
For sure.
party.
That's a
I
great-
mean, how often
great
do you
point.
get people asking for jungle juice?
Exactly.
You guys still,
Oh,
I
yeah.
get people
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time. Can we get like a cooler of jungle juice? I'm like,
Right.
That's
You're
okay.
always gonna have that audience.
Yeah.
Right.
No matter
Right.
what year it is, there's always someone in college that's gonna be wanting something.
There's
Yeah.
that sophomore,
Right.
That
junior.
is so cool.
So he.
How long ago was that? I'm sorry, to interrupt you.
So it's fine. I want to say that was about 7 years ago.
Okay.
I actually had to go back to see when my first payment for Cocktails by Hawk came in. That was about 7 years.
Oh,
Wow.
Was that through Tipsy Bartender?
Yes, he did pay me, but I don't think I invoiced him for it. I think we just did something under the table at that time.
Right.
But yeah, 7 years ago.
Wow.
And I will say, having done that skyrocketed me to like pretty much like a cheat code to like get ahead about like more than anybody else because one video I would get like, I don't know, 10,000 followers instantly.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And then I did like
Hold
multiple
on.
videos with them. So it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it just, yeah.
Okay.
Kind
Or
of like
just
a cheat code.
ballooned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is so great. First of all, I want to hold that thought for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
The one thing
Yeah.
I want to get to the core part, what you skimmed over was you started posting cocktails at home, like when you're working at Lucky. Like some people are just not like social media people or whatever the situation is. What made you want to like post your cocktails? And I'm assuming you're posting on Instagram
Yeah.
for your cocktails. back
It was
then.
on Instagram and a little bit of YouTube in the beginning, but I think I just kind of wanted to just share what I was making and like kind of just put my creations out there.
Yeah.
Whether people will gravitate towards it or not, I just like it was a creative outlet for me to just be like, I found more enjoyment doing it like than I was now, kind of a little bit, but
Does it get to that? It's work.
Yeah, you're crossing that line
Yeah.
of what's work and what's just like pure
right.
fun and creative. And I'm assuming the creative side from you comes from the music side of things in a way. You've always been a creative guy. Has that always been?
I think so. I think it's just more of like I don't know. I always want to do things with my hands, and like whether making it sound good or taste good. I just wanted to just be crafty kind of
You
with
like
my hands.
yeah, you like creating.
Yeah. Doing something. And at the time I was like, that's why I wanted to do A&R, because I always thought that I was like, I want to help somebody and like help their career and do more backstage stuff. Where Chelsea was like, what are you talking about? You want to be in front of the camera. Don't,
Yes.
Come on now.
You know,
Don't play with
so-
yourself.
Staying humble.
Yeah,
Staying
Right,
humble.
right.
right, whatever.
Right,
Is it more
right.
music production stuff, or do you actually like play an instrument or? you
I
create
played
music?
trumpet for a little bit, and I did
Stop
some like
it!
keyboard.
Let me tell you right now,
What
you guys.
got?
I have a family of
know.
what? Literally a family of trumpet players.
Yeah.
My husband, my son, my daughter.
That's amazing.
yeah.
Do they all
House
go
of
at it
trumpet
together?
players.
It
At
gets
home?
real loud.
It
At
gets
love
home.
it.
really
I
loud.
love it though.
Yeah, that is
That's
so cool.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So okay, so you jump, and how did you get introduced to Tipsy Bartender? Like, how did that?
I mean,
Interaction
it was
happen?
it literally was just like being at the right place at the right time, because my bar manager at the time was like, I'm gonna need some bartenders to come in to help facilitate this shooting, this thing that he's or taping of what he's doing. And so me and somebody else were like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I don't actually at the time, I didn't know it was gonna be him.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that he needed some extra hands. So I was like, all right. And then I come to find out it's Tipsy Bartender. So I'm like starstruck at the
Yeah.
time. Like,
And that is such a like Hollywood thing. They're like, hey, something's huge is happening, but we're not telling you.
yeah.
Right.
And then you show up and it's like freaking Brad Pitt or
Right.
something. Like,
I think it's such a key thing right there that you said though, right? A lot of times we all work jobs. We all have had 9 to 5s.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that job will need you to do something extra
Right.
that you're
Right.
not really going to get
That's
paid
a great
for.
point.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a
Right.
great point.
And a lot of people are like,
I'm good.
I'm not getting paid for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing it.
Right.
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 And you took being a team player
Yeah.
to that extra level, to the point where, you know, not on purpose, not intentionally, but that led to the blossoming,
Right.
right? The
Yeah.
very budding of the beginning of your career,
Yeah.
of what you do
Yeah.
now.
It's
Super interesting.
it's a lot of saying yes.
yeah.
And sometimes you don't want to say yes. And it's also can also be a lot of FOMO too at the same time.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, I should have done that. I
Yeah.
mean,
It still happens.
it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I have the worst FOMO. Chelsea would just throw that in my face.
I love it,
Don't
man.
have fun without me.
And so this Tipsy Bartender situation, was it a collab post that really launched your following?
Yeah.
Or like the specific? It was a collab post. Do you remember what the post was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can go on my Instagram and scroll all the way down.
To the bottom bits of cocktails by Hawk.
And
Yeah.
see these videos that we did. We did like 4, 5, 6 of them, I think, just doing different
Wow.
cocktails and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And yeah, different times back then.
Yeah.
It was fun. And that was the thing. I was like still trying to find what my style of bartending was. So I was just like trying all these different things, all these different techniques, and just mixing these different flavors and stuff. And it's I don't know. I definitely still like to go back. I want to go back to those cocktails and actually remake those. I probably should make that a series.
That
and
would
No,
be
that would be
cool.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
write it
You
down.
have to do it now.
Take
Like
your notes.
that's
Yeah,
that'd be
that's really cool.
awesome, man.
Right.
I want to
We
ask
should
the
all
question.
do that. Like, go back to our cringy posts and just redo
yeah,
them.
just redo it.
Like
Dude.
uncringe it.
Yeah, uncringe it. Yeah.
Can you uncringe it?
The uncringe series.
Right.
That's
How
a
can I
good
make
one.
this better? You
Yeah.
know? So
Huh.
No, wait. I have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the question that everyone wants to know.
yep.
So you start with Tipsy Bartender. Did you have the mohawk?
Yeah.
So I was
You did? Okay.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
I had the mohawk when I was in college. It started as a
Oh.
baby mohawk, and then it just got higher and higher. And I feel like this is the height that we rested at.
So this entire time that you were bar backing, you had a mohawk.
Correct.
So
Got
you stood
it.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
I always stood
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I always stood out.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But
And
that's
you're
what
also
you need.
tall.
You need that. You need something
Mm-hmm.
to, remind
be-
people of you.
Right.
Stand out
memorable.
amongst a crowd of 2,000 other people
Right.
trying to do the same music
that's
thing.
that's
Yeah.
a great point. And Saeed, when did the mohawk become a part of your personal brand?
When I changed, because there was a short stint of time where I was pursuing acting and doing music videos and stuff like that.
Stop it. That's so
and
cool.
I had my Instagram page of Hollywood Hawk. So that was a stage name for a second. And then
Do we follow Hollywood
Can we
Hawk?
can we pull up Hollywood Hawk, please? Cringe. Something says it's
grab my
cringe.
I'm pretty sure that account. I haven't closed that account. I don't think so.
There's
There's
all
some
these
modeling
DMs in
things
there.
going on there.
I mean, what? Very LA.
Yeah. See.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Look at that! Look at this guy. I love it, man.
You know, I'll pass it this way, but
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Let me put my drink down.
Yeah.
My glasses on. I'm gonna put my
Let me
glasses
get
on.
my glasses on.
yeah, that
Dude,
was,
your hawk was more intense back then.
was it?
Really?
It looks like it is.
I mean,
It's all
You're taking
second
too long.
nature
Pass it
to
down.
it now.
I love it. I love it.
yeah. So
Get
I had
outta here.
that page, and then then I was like, all right,
It
well,
was
this
not
is gonna
more-
be my
I mean, I see what he's saying.
acting,
It was more intense.
you know, modeling page, and I was
Just
like,
trimmed up more.
if I'm doing cocktails, I want to separate it. So then I created Cocktails by Hawk.
I see. Okay.
That's where
Nope, messed
that's
it up.
where it started.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
And clearly the cocktails by Hawk took off.
Yeah.
In comparison to
Right. Hollywood Hawk. Even
Hollywood
though I
Hawk.
got all my 3 SAG vouchers and I never applied for that. So
Mm.
I should have done that.
There has been a topic these last couple episodes. Started with
Yeah.
Boozy Broker over
I
here.
know.
Losing his.
Hey, man, you're
Losing
giving me
his.
some inspiration, Pop.
No!
Look at it go!
We would be so pissed
Oh
at Ryan
my
for
God.
inspiring you.
Yeah, I think he's on to something. Evolution is a big thing, and I think change is also big. And I think as much as the Hawk is the identity, it's like I also want to be known for not just a Mohawk.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
And also just like the bartending aspect and stuff like that. And I'm curious because I will say, having this Mohawk, it throws people for like a loop for like when you first see it come across your page, where it's like, is this guy a real douchebag? I don't.
okay.
Is he black? I can't tell.
Right.
Like, I'm very
Yeah.
ambiguous.
Right.
Got it.
Culturally ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like
They're confused.
yeah, and that's why sometimes I feel like that might be holding me back a little bit. If
Got
I
it.
was more just a normal person or
Right.
like looked normal, would I have had a bigger following or would I have grown fast? I don't know.
I might
Didn't
argue
that
that
sound
it
weird
might.
to say like look normal? What is
Well,
That's how
normal?
society
I'd
is.
Yeah, but
actually
you're so
argue
right.
that it might be a benefit, right? Because you're just there are more doors and there are questions,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And people have to ask.
Yeah.
How many times you saw somebody staring at you,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you could tell they want to ask, they
Yeah.
want to come up and
Yeah.
talk to me,
Yeah.
and then like at the end of the party, they finally make their way.
Right.
And you're like, here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's CJ. I think it's also timing. Timing could be everything. I don't know. I'm all about timing nowadays
Yeah.
because it's like the timing of social media. You're talking about 7 years ago,
I know.
right? So it's all like, right? What is social media about? It's about making people stop.
Mm-hmm.
That first 5 seconds, whatever it is. They see somebody with a massive mohawk. They're like, oh, interesting.
Right.
It looks
Click.
way more interesting than
Yeah.
somebody with a buzz cut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's on the next scroll. So it's
Let
like,
alone a mohawk with melanin.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
A
Now
melon
they're,
mohawk?
they're
Actually, you're
questioning,
right,
like,
yeah.
hold
I
on.
gotta find out.
Yeah.
right.
Now I want to hear what he sounds like.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
maybe I
That's
turn on the
it.
sound now. Oh, now I want to. What is he saying? What is he? He's making a cocktail. Oh, what is going on
Yeah.
here? I'm blown out of
Yeah.
proportion. There's a lot going on here, but it's like that. The timing of that I thought was really, really good. But I hear what you're saying with the challenges of like
Yeah.
I'm not just my hawk.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's more
Yeah.
to me
Right.
Yeah.
than this, but it does open the doors for people to get to know you.
Mm-hmm. True. It is.
Icebreaker,
It is an
yeah.
icebreaker.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But at the time too, it's like you have to think of it as like a brand perspective. It's like because I do have an edgy look, so
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
is my edgy
right.
look gonna be aligned with this brand's views?
every
and
Yeah.
everything? So
Yeah.
it's like
Mm.
Right.
Good point.
It's
Oh,
a double-edged sword.
It's a lot.
It's a
yeah,
double-edged
lot to
sword.
figure
That is
out.
a very good point.
We're all
That is a
deep-
very good point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do
but
you
it
think?
also like it's funny the back and forth. I absolutely love this because there's so many pros and cons, and so I
Right.
can understand what you're going through a little bit because it's all like the edgy look is almost like will stand for something or fall for everything type of
Right,
thing. Like, you know, it's all
right.
like, hey, the brands that support this edgy look, those are the ones who are going to dive in and let me be me.
Right.
Versus if I have some type of neutral kind of
Right.
look, and you know, maybe you do something with some brands that probably don't align too well or whatever, you know, those kind of things, right? Could happen,
Right.
Right.
right? So very interesting, man.
Oh, that's so cool.
No, this is great. And so let's talk about your right. We jumped into your personal brand and your following. Like now you do this full time, right?
Yes.
You're a full on influencer bartender, if that's a thing,
Yeah.
which it's
It
for
is
sure
a
a
thing,
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of bartenders that this is just what you do. And so when did you make that shift to where you're like, okay, I'm bartending these bars, I met with Tipsy Bartender, I'm making these cocktails at home, I'm doing some posts, oh shit, 10,000 followers on this post, that's crazy. Now, like there must have been something, maybe monetarily, maybe a leap of faith. What made you jump into just saying, I'm gonna jump into this whole influencer space?
Pre-COVID, I was doing like kind of like I want to say 3 days, maybe 4 days. No, actually, I take that back. I was doing 3 days at the Kimpton Everly Hotel and 2 days at Perch.
Oh, one of my
and then-
favorites.
Right.
Yeah.
First breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then-
With the bow tie.
and the,
Choking my neck.
forgot about that.
Up there on the porch under the sun in the summer.
With
Yeah.
the best. You know?
And then I was still, doing my, influencing or like social media stuff. And then COVID happened, where I was like, okay, so don't have a bar job. Everyone got, laid off for a little bit.
Right,
And so I just like, all right, I'm all in, doing social media. And it was great. I mean, the brands are still coming to me to like do some stuff, do some social media posts. And then things opened back up. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to bartending. I went back to Toca Madera.
Okay.
Um,
Where was that at? Which one in?
Toca Madera off of 3rd Street. They just shut down. I think they're moving somewhere else in LA. So I picked up some days there, and at the time I was like still getting more social media work, and I was like, I feel like I need to like not be back here at the bar anymore. Also at the time, I don't know if it just might have been an ego thing. I was like, I feel like I don't need to be doing this anymore. Could be a battle with ego for a
Right.
little
No,
bit.
you had grown. You had evolved.
I evolved.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna. I think I did Toca Madera for like a year, and then that next year, I was like, I pretty much I just started like going down in days, where I was like, I'm only here at Toca Madera maybe one time a month,
Got
and
it.
I'm like, I don't think this is worth it anymore
Yeah.
because I'm making more money doing this.
Oh, I was gonna
Right.
say, so
Yeah.
you are
Right.
making money doing posts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to making money, was it by particular brands? And we'll dive more into that. Was it by particular brands? Was it just like Instagram? Like what some people don't understand how
Right,
you make
there's-
money.
The economy of
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
It was because TikTok was there at the time, so I was
right.
generating money on TikTok without doing a branded post.
Got it.
And then I did have branded posts on Instagram because that's where I feel like you could make most of your money at the
Right.
time, because TikTok wasn't allowing alcohol or sponsored
right.
posts on TikTok. So
Right.
And how much would you say while you're working, and I know the shifts are going down, from the brands, because this is interesting, from the brands, how many brands are you working with on average in a month?
now or back then?
Back then. Just, like,
Probably like I think I want to say like 3 maybe, and at that time I gotta go back to look at invoices. But
Yeah.
I feel like at that time I feel like they're like around like 1K or a post, maybe 1,500 a post. So it's like that's like a paycheck. That's
Yeah.
like
Right.
a paycheck
Right.
working there
Right.
for a
Huge
week
paycheck.
Right.
with tips. I'm
Right.
like,
oh,
Right.
dude.
like maybe I just did this in one day.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
why am I working for
Yeah.
a week when I can just work
It's
for a
hard to-
day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Did that 1K a post, did it grow to 1K or did
it grew. It started. I had to go back and look at my first invoice. My first invoice for a sponsored post was about $400.
Okay.
And then,
But I bet
Great
for you,
start.
for like the very first time you see something like that, that's $400 is
right.
a lot. When
For
you've
some shit
never
you do
gotten-
anyways.
Yeah.
Right. I
just
mean,
for-
given I might have sold my soul because I didn't probably really read those contracts that well,
Yeah.
at the time. And now I'm
You're all,
learning
yeah,
about
just give me my money.
perpetuity and things like that. I'm just like,
Your
wait a minute.
likeliness.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
at that time, I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. And then it just evolved. It kept evolving. And now it's obviously, I don't know how many times more that is. Probably like 10 times that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to double tap on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
So you start at 400 posts. We're going to 1K a post. I know you're more than that now, but like I'm thinking back
Yeah.
then. How did you increase that price? Was that something that you increased, that you were just saying like, okay, I'm just going to increase this? Or was it like they were just offering this money, or was it a bit of both? Or did you just know what the market was offering? Like, how did you get from 400 to 1,000?
I think it's a little bit of both. Because some brands were gonna pay more, and so I was like, all right, if this is the standard, then I'm gonna keep it here and not go any lower. So if a brand paid me like, I don't know, say 1,000, I was like, the next brand I'm gonna work with is not gonna be worth 1,000.
Right.
It's gonna stay at 1,000. So
Mhm.
then obviously my numbers were kept on going and
Right,
growth
right,
started happening. So I felt like as you grow, you do need to start charging a little bit more and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
And how do you? I'm sorry.
no, you're good. I know. I'm
Like,
asking.
how do you
shit ton of
navigate that?
questions.
Well, this is so cool. Like, this is stuff that people don't get to see. But how
Right.
do you navigate that? Or like in the world of social media, like is there like a management company, or does that make sense? Like, is there somebody there to tell you like what the steps are?
I was going
or
to ask for
what to add?
mentorship. If there was a mentor
Yeah.
that he had,
Or were you just figuring it
guide
out
him.
on your own
Right.
the whole way?
I think community is a big part of it. Talking with people who are also in your space and like befriending
Yeah,
them and just being
yeah.
like, and if you see someone working or that had worked with that brand, maybe they had the same amount of followers you did, and you'd be like,
okay.
hey, like, I want to, out of curiosity, how much did they pay you?
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
then,
love that.
Right.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's like people are afraid that if you ask these questions, it's like I don't think you should be like withholding that information, because if you like tell these if you communicate this this knowledge to these people, I feel like we all grow,
Yes.
and growing together
What is
is
our saying?
Right.
bigger than
Community
over
right.
competition.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why we always got along with Saeed.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll go back to
Yeah.
our story, how we met in a little bit, but
Oh,
like
I'd love to hear it.
it's yeah, that he was under the same mindset. It was just all like, hey, like, there's opportunities. Let me just be who I am, be a nice
Yeah.
guy and meet people, and you don't know where conversations can go and what could
Right.
happen, right?
Yeah,
So
still remember that day at
Aw.
the Moxie.
the Moxie.
Oh my God!
Never
Haven't heard
forget
the
that
Moxie
day.
forever.
That's amazing.
I can't wait.
I'll let him tell it actually.
Yeah.
You sound like you got a good
Yeah.
perspective
I
on
don't
it.
think I know this story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
No?
think I know this story.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll find out together.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. No, I love that. Okay, so and I think what's more fascinating about you, Saeed, is that you've done all this without an agent.
Yeah.
I
I
did
think
it.
that's where I was getting to. Like, well, I know now
Yeah.
there's agents and stuff, but obviously the times have changed.
Right.
Yeah.
I did it all without an agent, and then an agency reached out to me asking if I, would like to sign up with them and stuff like that, and I did. And it's a learning thing. There were some pros that came from being with the agency. It's like, obviously they read all the contracts. I don't like contracts,
Ugh.
but I will say, if you are doing this solo and you need help reading contracts, ChatGPT is the best thing ever.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was literally about to say, guys, please use ChatGPT. Again, it's not the end all be all,
Right,
but
right.
it helps you get a layer closer to
Understanding.
like
You're right.
understanding what the
Right.
hell is going on.
Unfortunately, there wasn't Chat GPT 7
back
years
then,
ago.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
That was the
Absolutely
only
right.
thing.
Right.
That was-
Absolutely
but,
right.
But we have it now.
yeah,
Yeah.
And there's
absolutely.
no excuse for you not to use it. And let's piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're talking about a time where, right, your followers are growing, your contracts are growing.
Mhm.
What's one thing that you wish you could advise younger you, with like when it comes to like contracts?
Just
What's
read,
Oh my
yeah?
read the fucking contracts.
Oh,
man.
You
have
get
you
burned
been in
one
a
time?
I don't-
situation that you've been burned?
I don't know if I've been. I mean, I don't know if it necessarily. I probably have been burned. I just don't realize it.
Yeah, maybe
It'll
that's
come
better.
up
5
It's
years
better
from
that
now.
way.
Ignorance is bliss. All right?
I mean,
Yeah.
but just read the contracts and just also know your worth because.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And just understand what the word in perpetuity means.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we don't want things to be out there forever and not you owning that piece of. There's because there's times where it's like you can negotiate something with the brand and say, all right, we're doing it for this amount of length and that's it.
Yeah.
And then they send you the contract and it says in perpetuity. And if
Right.
you don't catch that, then they have it in perpetuity.
Right.
So
Forever.
you have to, yes. And then, so it's as easy as saying like, hey, like we agreed on this. Can you amend this part of the contract? And they'll say yes, because we already agreed to it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if I didn't say shit, they
Yeah.
would own the
They
shit.
would-
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right.
They'd be fine with it,
Yeah.
right?
So
You know,
Right.
and that's such a key thing. You just brought recently that just made news.
yeah,
Right. So Ryan Coogler,
Right.
the movie
Oh,
director,
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
he set up his movie deal so that after 35 years,
He
the
owns his
studio
stuff.
releases the
Right.
ownership of his movie.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And that is groundbreaking.
Great negotiation stuff. And
Yeah.
these little like tidbits of just, notes and advice, and these like it could be life changing.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? If you just kind of like say the right thing or ask. Even if you just didn't ask, of
Right.
course, people like at the end of the day, people are like, you're doing business with somebody. They're gonna try to
Right.
get one side's gonna try to get the most. There's some people out there that, I go by two words. It has to be fair and exciting for both sides. That's whenever I jump into any form of negotiation or anything. But not everybody thinks like that.
No.
So you have to look out for yourself and all that good stuff.
And
But
just
what's
know
great,
that-
there's tools out there for
And
this
just
stuff.
know that bigger brands are always going to ask for the most.
Everything.
Yeah.
All
Like
the
it might be like amazing. The dollar amount might be amazing to work with these bigger brands, but just know that they're gonna suck you dry for every little thing that you want that they want. So
Yeah.
Right.
be wary of that.
Right. I love
Great
it.
advice.
Yeah, and this is a good transition to like where you're at now and brands, right? So a big part of your day to day, a big part of what you do, how you earn a living, is working and dealing with these brands.
Correct.
You have strong relationships with certain brands. I'm sure that there's certain situations where it's a shotgun approach. You see them once a year, or you see them once and never at all.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that. I call it going on offense. Right. I think one time we spoke and, you were saying where, hey, you still have to go out there and pitch yourself.
Yeah.
It's not like brands
It's
are
just
just
not just
knocking on
coming
his
to you.
door,
True.
every single
Right.
day. I'm
Right.
sure he has some of that coming in and some relationships off of what you built, but you have to go out there and get and,
Right.
and kill, hunt what you eat type of thing.
True.
So what does that process look like for you?
That's the thing. It's like it's so hard, I think, nowadays to be so focused on being on the offense when you have things coming in. Thankfully, I'm blessed for that things are coming in. So it's
Right.
like when I have 3, 4, 5 partnerships already, I'm kind of like not going and seeking partnerships.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's easy to. You're comfortable.
Well, not
yeah.
even that, but
Well,
it's just like I got this on my plate. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, you
I don't want
can't.
to
He's a
overfill
one-man
my
band.
plate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like when it comes down to 2, it's like then I'll start. And this is how I did it. I would shoot a DM to a brand, and I would say, big fan of your brand. Would love to potentially work with you guys. Can I get in contact with your PR company because it's the PR that's
Yeah.
running those social
Yeah.
media.
Right.
pages.
Right.
So and that's the
that.
other thing
Nuggets.
too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes brands will be like, sure thing, here is our contact email, shoot us your
Yeah.
rates. Sometimes you'll get a generic response that says, shoot us an email at hello at whatever brand, and that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black hole.
And then sometimes it's just no response.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and I think you just, if it's a no, if it's a rejection, just move on. Or even if you do get the contact and it's a no at the time, you have that email now. Shoot them
Right.
an email
Yeah.
6 months from now.
There
Right.
you go.
You
Yeah.
never know.
Follow-up game.
Put them in the
So
pipeline.
yeah,
Follow up.
cold emailing works.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably got like 10 no's, but I've gotten a couple yeses,
And they were huge.
sometimes that's great.
I love that, y'all. Shit still goes down in the DMs.
Yeah.
I mean, how else you gonna get these emails
Yeah.
unless you're on LinkedIn and you're like scoping these PR companies, and it's like that just seems a little chaotic for me.
Yeah,
But I think easier out is just cold DMing, and just if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. No.
Are
That's
you
dope.
able to say some of the big brands you're working with or have worked with?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Tons.
laundry list of things. Currently I'm with Still Austin. And my other thing too is I think it's important to do long-term partnerships
So that was
That
my
makes
next
sense.
over
Mhm.
one
Right.
time,
Mhm.
over
Right.
over one-offs, because if your audience sees you posting something consistently over like 3-4 months,
Right.
they're gonna be like, okay, he actually really does like this brand.
He believes.
He
in it.
believes
Yeah.
in it,
Right.
and I should now check it out, because you do a one-off, that's one drop of water in a large pond. And it's
Right.
like you're
Right.
doing so much content and so many things.
I think what you're talking about, Saeed, is integrity.
True.
Right. And I think what you're looking for is you're not just building long-term relationships with any brand,
Right.
right? Like any of us, you don't just jump into a relationship with anyone,
Mhm.
right?
I
you
mean,
have
if
to
you're
make
toxic,
sure.
yeah, you will.
Okay, if you're toxic, yes.
Yeah.
Like, right? That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, is that you get to choose brands that you really do believe in,
Mhm.
Right.
build these longer relationships, and then it also shows your integrity to your followers.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think that when you are disingenuous, right, and like your support can be paid for,
Right.
right? It can be paid, can be bought,
Right.
right? People can tell that,
Right.
and now your following's not going to be as big because they know, like, well, so and so
Yeah,
just
doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For your
Yeah.
And I've
He's
been
done
there.
it.
I've
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've definitely like taken the check, because even
It's
though
a check.
It's a check.
Yeah,
And we
money's
live in
money.
I'll
California.
always keep a
dude.
check.
Yeah. You live in California, gas prices ain't
Yeah.
free.
It's
Yeah.
California.
Gas ain't free.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's been times where it's like, in the early on when I was like starting out, I was like, I'll take the check, and then like even though if I didn't necessarily believe the brand,
Right,
but at the time, it's
right.
like you learn over time. That's like you have to have integrity. It's like I want to
Yeah.
work with brands that I genuinely know and appreciate
Right.
and can stand by and will use even when I'm not being paid to be using it. So
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I
there
love
is that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
And what would you say the percentage of the brands? So the money, the deals that you work on
Mhm.
are brand new brands versus brands that you have constantly worked with. Is it like? I feel like you have some solid brands that keep coming back to you.
Yeah. It's been a lot of tequila, but yeah, there are some brands that I just like appreciate and love that I just keep kind of working with them.
Right.
Um,
And they keep working with you. They're
Yeah.
willing to continue
Right.
to pay you to do things,
Right.
which is awesome.
like I've done stuff with Empress Gin for like a long time,
Mhm.
even though I might not I feel like I do a post for them at least once a year, which is nice. But I've known them like was it pre-COVID? Yeah, I've known them pre-COVID. Back in the day, before like they actually invited me out to their distillery and stuff like that. But
Wow.
yeah, no, it's like brands like that are great.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, it was such a new product back in the time, people are just like, they wrote on that, purple
Purple.
gin
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
for a while.
I love how we
Right.
all everything is pre-COVID or post-COVID.
Right.
That's
No,
when you
it's
BC.
BC.
Yeah, BC for us.
Yeah.
No, I call it coming to Jesus moments.
Yeah.
A lot of people sit
come
there.
to Jesus
Yeah.
moments.
You're in your thoughts. You're thinking a lot. You're
Right.
like, man, is this what I really want to be doing,
Yeah.
or you're trying to align
Before
yourself
COVID.
with
Right.
purpose and all sorts of stuff. Like I think there's as bad as of a time as it was, and
Yeah.
people that we lost and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was some good that came out of it.
Yeah, I
much
call that
change.
collateral beauty.
Right,
Right? Where you have this terrible thing that's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but it really forced people to look at their life.
Right.
Right? Like you do with
really
your
did.
hair.
Right.
Yeah.
You did an audit. Right? You did an audit on yourself. And I think COVID
You
forced
started a
everyone to
business.
audit.
To audit
Yeah.
themselves
Right,
a little bit, right? 100%.
And so, for some people, you audit and you're like, I like what I'm doing. I'm going to keep on doing it. And for some people, it was like, there needs to be certain changes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there going back to the brand? I think this is so cool because folks, and we'll talk about the bartending space and all of that, especially from a mobile private bartending standpoint. But there's people who make cocktails out there and this and that, and they aspire to, man, I wish I can do deals like that. Was there a particular brand that really changed things for you, or like changed the trajectory, or it was like a good size check, or just like your following grew after this brand, or that it made you more legit? Anything that kind of stood out to you?
It would be, and this was during COVID. I did a partnership with Remy Martin and Esquire magazine.
That's big.
And that was
That's
was
big.
the biggest
Yeah.
amount of money I've ever been paid at that time for anything, and I was just like, oh shit. And actually, and not just money aside, but it was also just how organized this was. Given we're still in COVID times, so we're doing a lot of video chats and stuff like that. But we had multiple meetings about how the content was going to look. Going over the creative deck, going over the video and the script that I was supposed to be saying while making the stuff, and then going over the shot list for each component of the cocktail or the cocktail video and stuff like that. So that, I think, was like, all right, this is like the new bar, and this is what I need to be doing for each and every partnership moving
I
forward.
love that.
Yeah.
So you went through an experience that raised your level going
Expectations,
through it, and so now you can apply that to even the folks that's not on Remy's level, whatever, and they see you like, oh, this is legit. They're happy with the product,
Right.
because you've raised your game up. But let's back up. How did you get that opportunity? Like, where did that come from? Like,
That was I didn't know anybody at Remy, especially I didn't know anybody at Esquire, and I think that came from just having a social media platform. I think they
came at you?
they came
to you?
they emailed me.
Wow.
Whether they got my contact through DMs or whatever, but they emailed me, and at first I'm like, sure that's the right amount of money? You say you want to pay me?
You sure you want to do
He
this?
added too many
There's
zeros.
two
But it's Remy, baby. It's Remy.
So
cool.
they came to me with that one, and that's like, I think that's why I said, I was like, I feel like I need to, like, if this is the bar that this is the standard that they do work at, this is how I need to be doing it moving forward by
cool.
myself.
Yeah.
Man, they put you on that King Louis status.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know,
trade?
yeah. But it kind of makes sense though. It's Remy and Esquire,
Right.
so it's they're gonna want to do things super legit to make
Right.
sure that is executed very well.
Correct.
So they know that in order to get top talent, you got to pay top talent and all that type of stuff. And what they're requiring out of you, I'm assuming, like, that was pretty. Were you nervous? Like,
Yeah.
was it
because-
intense?
Well, because I was at the time, it was like it's not only just a video, it was also a, like, not a magazine, but it was just an online magazine feature. So they had an article about how bartenders use cognac in their cocktails. And I was featured alongside Kevin Deirdrick from PCH and somebody else from, I forget where they're else from, but they're also like a prestigious bartender that I looked up to. So it's just like, oh damn, like,
To
these
be there with
guys-
them.
Yeah,
is
I'm in the
so
room.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm in the
Yeah.
building, baby.
So-
Yeah.
So yeah, that was crazy because it's like it's sometimes you have the imposter syndrome, and it's just
Oh my
like,
gosh, we just had a whole conversation
did.
about
We
imposter
sure
syndrome.
did.
yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
am I able to do this? Yeah, I'm able to do this. I can
Yeah.
do this. So
Actually, that's a great point. Going back to imposter syndrome. So going back to like when you first started,
Yeah.
were you just using your iPhone to shoot everything?
yep,
So that's
that's
all
a
it
great-
took.
I
Right?
still using iPhone today.
Yeah, right.
Look at that.
So-
And then I got Nate over here
Yeah,
every now and
Nate.
then.
Hey,
too.
Nate
I
Dogg.
got Nate over here,
Nate
too.
Dogg.
Podcast producer.
Hey, relationships though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
how we all came together. Community, relationships, they
Yeah.
connected, and I'm sure that as much as Nate does, work with you, you've done some things to level up his game too. You know what I mean? So it's a very mutual relationship, which we all respect, and that comes to the work that he does with us.
Right.
You know, so dude, this is where it's a lovely game because of what you went through with Remy and that experience. Now, whoever you're dealing with, you're giving them a piece of that
Sets the standard.
experience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's fantastic. This is great. Is there a story out there that stands out to you when you were on offense hitting up a brand that was a fairly unique one that was like, damn, I can't believe I got that. It was a good W for you.
I think it was the first yes. The first yes that I got.
The very
that
first
first
one
one.
that you were like, you were hitting.
I'm like, yeah, they listen.
That's cool. Well, what about the opposite? Was the total like?
I know that was total
Great.
like
Yeah,
lost.
total
That's a great
opposite,
question.
yeah.
So is there something that you were like you were
Sticks
really
out
hoping
super
for
negatively.
and they just
Heartache.
like ghosted you
Yeah.
or they were just like,
Yeah.
nah, you're good.
Yeah, Tresemme.
What? Stop
Put it out there on blast, huh?
Yeah.
Just let them know.
I've been hitting them in the
Still got the
DMs
chip.
constantly. Number one question? What do you use for your hair?
Tresemme. Oh
I'm
my
a walking
gosh.
billboard.
That's so
That's
true.
hilarious.
That is so true.
Yeah,
Oh, they
that's who
missed one.
That's who I'm like.
Wow.
They
Hey,
missed
hey,
one.
y'all got to figure that out.
Yeah.
real
I got
quick.
Tresemme in the shower right now.
Tresemme.
Yeah, make
Dang,
that
that's a
work.
good one.
Make that work.
Y'all
No.
owe this man some money.
Yeah. we're gonna go on a quick break here, but before I just want to let the audience. I want to ask you. This is good. Is there any particular platforms or tools that you use that's helped you out? Like I know you're on Instagram, I know you're on TikTok, but is there any like tools or things that you're using that's really helped you level up your game?
Yeah, ChatGPT, of course. Actually, just used it yesterday to come up to develop a content calendar for me for the
wow.
month of May. I'm just like, I kind of, made sure your prompt is like super specific so that it spits out the right information. That's about. I mean, there's another one I use for just like I have Grammarly for just checking my grammar and stuff like that for my post. And then CapCut for editing my stuff.
See, this is great. It's
all
like these are all
easily
things
accessible.
easily
Yeah.
accessible tools.
Right.
It just comes down to the creator themselves. Like it's not about. It's all about how. It's a tool is a tool. Is what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
Also,
You know.
School of YouTube.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, YouTube University. Right. Yeah, that's
YouTube.
huge.
That's about
So-
it.
and yeah, that's such a great point, right? Like, you have the vision, you have the idea, and you're using tools that's readily available to everyone.
Mhm.
So, like, the excuse of, oh, I'm just not good at that, right? Or that's not what I do. That's not, like, that's no longer an acceptable excuse,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And there's a
plenty of
bunch of
things out there
like
to help.
content creator platforms where people can get like marketplaces where they can get hired for work and stuff like that. Are you on any of those?
Popular Pays was one of them that I was using for a while because they'd always have like things that like brand partnership brands would go there and just be like, "This is the campaign. We're looking for creators," and that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like the deliverables that they're asking for the amount of money just doesn't necessarily equal out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say know your worth.
Know your
'cause
worth.
That's important. But that's one of them. There's another one in the past, but yeah, I feel like doing Popular Pays is great because it's like, I don't know, it's like a dating app for like brands.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
You know,
right,
like
right.
you-
Figuring each other
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is all like
Swipe
brand
right.
sponsorship stuff, not bartending stuff.
Correct.
Right? Got
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is great. I'm excited. Let's go on a quick break. Dude, this is fantastic. We're going to continue the conversation. And plus, I want to learn what we're sipping on over here,
Oh,
something
yeah,
else.
sorry.
So that's going to be good. So
It's almost
cool.
gone.
We'll go on
Right.
break.
Yeah.
I know,
That
right.
happens
right.
here a lot.
Good
This thing was
stuff.
full when it got here.
Right, right, right.
I love where this conversation is going. This video was sponsored by Happiest Hours. We are a one-stop platform that's designed to help mobile bartenders succeed and grow in their businesses and make real-time connections effortless. Click the link in the description to book a demo today. Now grab a drink and let's get back to this podcast.
All right, guys, this is fantastic. And, we're talking about brand partnerships, and we have an amazing brand here. But before we talk about this brand and what's in that beautiful bottle, I got a request from our boy Nate Dogg. and it was a really good question. Your creative process when you're making these posts, like, we want to just jump into your world for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? Do you prep? Has that changed over time? Like, just talk to us about it.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Before I used to just kind of wing it, and that's just more stress, putting more stress on
Yeah.
yourself. So now it is writing the script out, planning out your shot list. I don't want to say I rehearse because I don't rehearse. I should rehearse so I can nail it down and get my talking points better. And then you have your shoot day. When I'm not working with Nate Dogg, I will. So there's definitely a day where I prep everything. I have my script, my shot list. Next day is shooting, and then next day is editing. I don't typically like to shoot and edit in the same day. I think that's just exhausting, and I think you need to have fresh eyes when you come back to it.
That's
so
a great
Yeah,
point.
that makes
That's a
sense.
good point.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, you could like look over the footage just real quickly, make sure you got the shots, make sure everything's in focus and stuff like that, but not like combing through it and start cutting things up and chopping it up. So a day for, like I said, day for writing the script and shot list, a day for shooting specifically, and then a day for editing, and then after editing, a day for writing copy and caption.
Nice.
And how do you keep yourself creative? Like, I know that it can be kind of mundane sometimes, making cocktails, even though you're making different cocktails, different concoctions, whatever.
Yeah.
But it could be a similar shot. It could be this. Like, how do you balance out doing something different, taking chances on certain things at the same time, trying to do what's been working? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix type of stuff. Right.
I mean, there's two sides of this, because there's a transactional side where you just have to do it and push through and just, put it together. And then there is the actually like being inspired by something and going off of that inspiration and testing until you nail it down. So I'm guilty of both. There's times where I have to be transactional and I just have to like, it's not necessarily me coming up and developing a custom recipe or fresh recipe. It's maybe just like going through the motions and shooting, a take on like a cocktail that someone else created, obviously giving credit to them, and then, shooting the video. But when there's times where it's like I get inspired by something and I'm like, for instance, our Mountain Dew cocktail that
I love that shit.
Yes.
That shit was amazing.
I had a client of mine, a celebrity client of mine, who wanted me to bartend their Friendsgiving party, and he requested, they were having Taco Bell catered, so he requested I do Taco Bell themed drinks.
I love Taco Bell.
I did not even know that.
So
We were talking about Taco Bell before we got started.
Yes,
today.
yes, we were.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
So true.
Oh my
So-
We're not going to eat that, by the way.
So, and mind you, this is my client of mine is like, he's like, he comes up with this idea and the party is later this week. I'm just like, cool. I got no time.
That's
Think
always
about
how
it.
it happens.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, gosh.
I go down rabbit holes. I'm just like, okay, talk about his one request was Baja Blast. So I'm like, okay, we can figure this out. I knew it was going to be a tequila-based cocktail. I knew it had to have Baja Blast in it. I didn't know what the other two components were going to be. It was literally an aha moment where I'm like in the store at Ralph's at the checkout, and I'm looking at the liquor display that they have all locked up at the checkout counter, and then I see it. It's literally there. There it is, Hypnotic.
Oh, my word.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
That is it.
Can we pause for 2 seconds?
Dude.
What in the world makes you say in your head, that's it? That's it.
Hypnotic.
Well,
Out
because-
of
Oh my
all the
gosh.
things.
Because if you look at the description of what Hypnotic is, it is, I think it's like I don't know if it's cognac based. It's a cognac based cocktail that infuses tropical flavors.
Oh,
It's
I
also
see. Baja
blue.
Blast, and it's blue.
Yes.
Baja
Got
Blast
it.
is a tropical
Right.
soda.
Yes.
This only makes sense. So then the fourth component, well, maybe fifth component, was like I knew that Mountain Dew and Suze go hand in hand. So then I go down another rabbit hole. I was like, I don't want to use Suze because Suze is a gentian liqueur that is bitter.
Right.
I don't want it to be that bitter.
Right.
So I start going down the rabbit hole of what's another gentian aperitif? Sailor's aperitif is gentian. It's not as bitter, but it's going to add some complexity to the cocktail. So combine tequila, Hypnotics, Sailor's, lemon or lime, and then Mountain Dew Baja Blast. That is it. It was like 1 or 2 tries of figuring out the recipe, and then that was it. I'm like, this is it.
That is so cool.
So you
That's
do this-
one. That's one cocktail, right?
One
Oh,
cocktail.
Yeah, what were the other ones?
His other request was I want a cocktail with Taco Bell hot sauce.
Oh, I
I'm
did
like,
see some.
Fire
Yeah,
sauce or Diablo?
He didn't say. I just went on hot.
yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm like, fuck. Okay, what am I gonna do here? I know that their hot sauce is tomato based, so
Yes.
I think tomato, and then I think strawberries. Going back to a cocktail I had in El Gallo in Guadalajara, they did a tomato strawberry like a highball cocktail. So I'm like, okay, so I know these 2 components are gonna work. What's the other component? I don't know what spirit I want to do. I'm walking through Total Wine, and there I see it. It's the empirical Dorito Nachos spirit.
Yes.
So it is a nacho cheese spirit. It's not a vodka. It's just its own category.
What?
So this is going to be it. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to come home. I know I have my tomato hot sauce, strawberry component. It's not going to be real strawberries. I like it to be tall and effervescent. So we're going to go Fanta strawberry. And then this thing, this nacho cheese ingredient, and then there was lemon juice, I think, to add some acidity to it. Can't decide if there's anything else I put in there. I'm trying to remember, but I think that was the core of the cocktail was a nacho cheese spirit, hot sauce, strawberry soda, lemon juice. Maybe there's something else, but then that was
This
it.
is some mad science.
That is so
Yeah,
cool.
I
like in a white coat.
Yeah.
With goggles,
with some-
you
yeah,
know,
little
and-
glasses.
It's so
and
cool.
just
Or not
shit's
even, or like
blown
when the
up.
kids go up to the fountain soda machine and they get a little bit of soda of every
Yes,
flavor.
yeah.
yes.
This is nuts. And what's going back full circle? This is back to your Lucky Strike days of just like
Fucking around.
3 olives, this
Yeah.
and this, and oh shit, I don't know.
Make it
This is
work.
weird, but we're gonna figure it out.
Yes.
And fucking around.
We made it work, and they loved it. It was a hit. Everyone, as weird as this nacho hot sauce cocktail was, people drank multiple of them, and I was like, "That's crazy."
Wow.
And then but they were stoked about it.
That must have been so fun to bartend for
Right?
the president.
Yeah.
Was that now?
That must have been so fun to bartend for the president.
my
oh man,
That's-
I know that
That's-
must have been fire.
Wait, it was the president of
yeah. It
Taco
was-
Bell?
No, just the president of the U.S.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he loves
Okay.
Taco Bell. Yeah,
Oh, I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, which president?
President Trump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Trump.
Oh, well, wait, what?
He's
No,
like-
you lost me.
Saeed was like, was he there?
Oh man, no.
No, that's
Oh,
He's
my
loving
God.
fast food. That's
Yeah.
all. He's loving
Okay, I
fast
heard.
food.
right,
Heard.
right,
Got
right.
it.
Dude, that's
Oh.
Now I
crazy.
just feel like I
Okay.
need some Taco Bell in my life. Shoot.
Oof.
So
Well, now I'm
Guilty
waiting for.
pleasure.
I'm waiting for the Baja Blast Midnight. They're coming out with that soon. I'm gonna work with it. So I'm gonna figure out something with that eventually. But
But hey,
so
Oh,
cool.
dropping
soon.
gems
Coming
over
soon.
here.
Yeah.
So okay, so you did that for a private event, which
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the private event side for sure. But how did that turn into a post? Like, was there a brand that saw you do, or did you just post that?
I just
or
posted it. I was
you
like,
just did it. Okay,
I wanted. This is going back to the days where I just wanted to post my creations. My
good for
recipes.
you. That's awesome.
But did Taco Bell reach out and say, like, hey, no, they don't care?
Nope.
Okay.
Me hoping to tag them and stuff like that. Hoping
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
comes from it. Maybe something will. Maybe something won't.
Yeah.
You never know. You just put it out there into the universe, and if something comes from it, amazing. If not, I was so happy about this creation that the right audience definitely found it and picked
Right.
up on
Oh,
it, and it's
right.
one of those things where it's like,
You mean those people that love Midnight Munchies?
yeah, those people, absolutely.
That was a good percentage.
Yeah.
Right,
a lot
but
of
And
us there.
that's actually like perfect timing too, because I think was it last year that Taco Bell launched the first restaurant that serves alcohol?
I think
Oh,
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I didn't
Yeah,
know
in
that.
downtown LA.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's downtown LA too.
Field
it's in
trip?
downtown LA. Yeah, I've seen it. It's
Field
beautiful.
trip.
It's a beautiful store.
Really?
Yeah, very beautiful.
But that was the thing. It's like you know, there's a lot of times where I'll create content and I'm just like, it doesn't get posted, doesn't make it, and I don't know why, because it's like, I don't know if there's something about it that was deep down that I didn't think it was ready, and I don't think it's ready to be released. I can't tell you how many times I've shot videos, edited it, and then it just doesn't get posted because I don't think it's ready. I don't know if it's the timing. I don't know if it needs a look at
It just
something.
doesn't feel
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
so
that goes along with.
But this one, I was like, this is ready. This is baked. I got
Yeah.
positive reinforcement from the client that loved it.
That's what I love about
Positive reinforcement from Nate, from him trying it.
Johnny!
Raving about it.
Oh
benefits
my
of being the
gosh.
production
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And then it was also fun about that. It was just there was a little rage bait moment for the Mountain Dew one where it's just like, let me put this rare Fortaleza lot 150 in there because fuck it. And
Rage
then-
bait, I can imagine.
And then people were just like,
love
why are you
that.
doing this tequila?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
because
can
I got
imagine.
like
You're up
8
because I
cases.
can't
No,
do
because
it.
he's
Because
got
I
8
can.
cases in the
Right.
bag. No big deal.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
See? That's right.
Oh,
When you're at like Total Wine, you said you're at Total Wine earlier. Do people see you there and like, oh my
I
gosh, like
ran
what a
into
cliche.
somebody the other day, and he had dropped me up a bottle of free spirits, and then he said he was just like working on this cocktail for the Met Gala and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And so he just asked me a couple of times, and it's like, but yeah, we just chatted up there, and just caught up and stuff. So yeah, I run into people all the time.
Yeah.
oh my
that's cool.
gosh, that must
Total
be
wine.
Where else to be?
You probably make people's day.
Yeah.
I love
Like I
it.
came to
I
the
love
liquor
it.
store and I
only
ran
meant to
into the
spend
guy.
$100.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I met Saeed, and now I spent 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: we're gonna get that Taco Bell hookup. Let the boozy broker get
We're
involved.
working on
Right.
We
it.
gonna broker some type of deal.
We're gonna work on it.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. But what I want to do is we have a beautiful expression here on the table here, and these are one of the brands that you work with, pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And man, you've had a phenomenal experience with these guys, and you got your own barrel with them.
Yes.
So talk to us about this, man. What are we drinking here?
So this is Cascanes number 9 Reposado. So number 9 meaning that it is 50%, so 100 proof.
Beautiful.
But this is my barrel pick that I did in collaboration with K&L Wines. We tasted 9 different barrel picks, couple Reposado, couple Añejo, and this one just stuck out.
Wow.
I thought I brought in a third friend of mine, Rob, the Tequila Collective, just as because he's done
Yeah, a good
had
amount.
experience.
We love Rob.
Rob's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just had to have him as a third opinion, just in case me and David from KNO were like battling on which one we should pick. But this stuck out like blew every other barrel pick out of the water. Some of the other barrel picks were. Well, this one was rested in 4 Roses whiskey barrels.
Love it.
So
Sick.
had a medium char level on it. But my favorite thing about this tequila is I get so much butterscotch on it, and it drinks like an añejo, but at the Reposado price point,
Right.
which is so dope.
Right.
Yeah, guys.
Cheers!
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers,
Good
everybody.
times.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
Welcome. Again, yeah, and this is available on the KNO Wines website. You can get it at the store too, so they do ship to some states. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm also doing. Well, I don't know when this podcast is coming up. But I'm doing a tasting on the 4th, May 4th.
Nice.
Star
Wars.
So
Nice.
May, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
fourth.
It is absolutely beautiful. I think you did a phenomenal job on the
Right,
pick.
so
And
clean.
it's one of those to where like I love it when there's a high proof that doesn't taste like it's
Right.
hot.
Right.
And I get more
Right.
flavors than heat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get the butterscotch. I do get chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
In there too. And it's just
The caramel.
yeah, and Cascanes does a phenomenal job. They do a great job with their stuff. We went to their distillery when we were all out there. So they
Super
do a great
amazing.
How
job.
have we
Yeah.
not talked about that trip on any one of our podcast episodes?
Yeah, that might have to come
yeah.
up.
We're
yeah.
gonna have to do a
Yeah.
whole episode on that trip, dude. We were
Oh,
a riot.
man. Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
you guys
It
were a
was-
riot.
It
I
was
was
a
just in charge.
marathon.
It
Yeah.
was.
And poor Vivian and Alana had to carry us everywhere.
Cheers, boo.
That,
Literally
I was
carried-
expecting that.
Cheers to the strong ladies.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is great. No, but it's the one thing that I want to talk about as well, man, is your jump into the private bartending space. But before we do that, it's funny, we were talking about it earlier. I want to hear your story on how we met.
Yes, please.
I want to
I'm
hear
ready.
your take on how we
Yes.
met because it's cool. Obviously, people
Moxie.
know us over here at Happiest Hours and what we're building, and it's not like we were like, hey, we meet Saeed. Hey, we're building all this stuff at Happiest Hours. I felt like it was more of a genuine, kind of like meetup. But I didn't know that you were doing the private stuff when it makes sense for you and stuff like that. But I want to hear from you, big guy.
So we were at the Moxie Hotel in downtown. Can't remember why. I forget.
It was a Cody-Go event.
It was a Cody-Go event.
Yeah,
That's what
yep.
it was.
Now, was
Okay.
this before COVID or after COVID?
I know, right?
No, I'm just
BC.
kidding.
Yeah.
After COVID?
After COVID, for
After
sure.
COVID.
Yeah.
AC.
So yeah, we just went to the Cody-Go event. I had my hair down.
See? So at least it was genuine, right?
Yeah,
I wasn't like, dude,
Yes.
what's
Let
up with the
loose.
hawk? Like
Let
everybody and their
loose.
mom.
Is incognito.
I was
Yeah.
incognito, and then you guys approached me. You
Yeah.
guys came up. You're like, "Hey, we're big fans and stuff like that." And then you told me a little bit about what you guys are doing. And at the time, like I had been doing some private bartending, and I was like, I see the vision of what you're doing, and I want to be a part of that. And took a leap of faith, and to my not surprise, you guys have blessed me with so many different opportunities. You've connected me with so many different people. So it's just like it was like a fucking match made in heaven. And I just like at the time you don't know what things are gonna transpire or work out to be. So
Right.
grateful that I went to that event, because if I didn't go to that event, I would have never met you guys ever. So
Yeah.
and I do. What's one thing that I kind of like am adamant about is that you do have to show face sometimes.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And even though I'll go back and forth with Chelsea all this time about how she doesn't want me to go to everything. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta show face. It's
Yeah.
important.
You just
Right.
never
You
know.
never
Yeah.
know.
You never know who you're gonna
never
meet.
Yeah.
know
You
what
never
opportunity
know.
is gonna come from this. See, and that's the thing. You don't have to go and stay there the whole entire time.
Yeah.
You go there, stay for an hour or two, and then dip. You don't have
Right.
to stay for the whole
Right.
duration
Yeah.
of the event.
Right.
So, but yeah.
As tired as you are sometimes,
Right.
and you have to be 110%
Yeah.
on the whole
Yep.
time, but
Right.
it's just
But it's
It
it's
is-
worth
yeah,
it
you
because the
gotta do it.
connections, the
Yeah.
possibility of connections.
Yeah.
Is I was reminded of that this weekend. And like your presence, right? It's you can't send somebody to do that for you.
no,
Right.
You
no.
have to be there. Ryan had to be there with Alana. And,
Yeah.
and then for you guys to vibe and click.
Mhm.
Could you imagine if you had sent somebody else,
Right.
right? And maybe you wouldn't have vibed with them as much,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
It would have been, right? So it's I think you said it best. You really have to show face,
Yeah.
and be present. And I think that goes out to a lot of like bartending owners of bartending companies. Sometimes you guys get these events that are, right? You know that there's going to be people there,
Mhm.
right? And Ryan has always been, harped on this, is that like sometimes like bring the extra person so that you're not stuck behind
Right.
the bar.
Yeah, so you
So
can
that
mingle
you
and
can
network.
go out and network
Right.
and mingle, because you just never know who that connection.
Right.
Yeah. No, you guys are exactly right. I think it was Alana, because Alana's more aware of social media and all that stuff. I think she recognized you, and she was like, hey, that's Saeed, like Hawks of the Hawk. I was like, let's say what's up. And then it was also you being open to having a conversation, because
Right.
you don't know who you're going to meet. Some
Right.
people are
Right.
like,
Right.
what the fuck are you talking
Or
to
is
me
it
for?
intimidating?
Saeed
for-
could have done
yeah,
that.
Yeah, you
Very
very well
could've. You like,
Very well could've.
Bro, like, you know
Yeah.
what? You know who I am.
That's
But
good
at the
for
same
you.
time,
Yeah.
there's people out there that you kind of need to block yourself
Right,
from,
right.
But at the same time, it's almost just like, I feel like there's a gut check, and you just have a good, how can you call it? Like a good like feel
Radar.
of character,
Yeah.
radar of like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this person seems pretty genuine. Like, let's see what
Yeah.
they have to say, or whatever it is, And it's, again, it's not like we're all trying to pitch each other things in this time.
Right,
It's just more of like, hey man, like what you're doing, and like, let's get to know each other. Like
Right.
we're both here. Like,
Yeah.
let's have a
Yeah.
cocktail. Let's get to know each other. And next thing you know, one thing leads to another. Not all like interactions happen that way.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, you got to be there. And sometimes you meet these people where it just gels.
Yeah.
And I think that happened to like all of us to some
Yeah.
extent. Same
For
thing with
sure.
us, Vivian,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And then, it just happens. And so what's great about it, again, going back to timing, this is something that you were doing. So this is one of the things that you're doing. So the private bartending space, let's jump into that for a little bit. And I'm excited for this because a lot of our audience, the mobile bartenders, you know, they're going to be able to pick up off of things that you're doing and learn from you. Now, the private bartending stuff, when did that start? Were you a content creator before or after?
I was a content creator before. And and so, yeah, started as a content creator, and then I had a friend who is now a rep for a brand, but at the time he was bartending for this lady who worked at Netflix, and she always throws a holiday party every year, be right before Christmas. And he's like, "Hey man, I can't do it this time. Would you be interested in doing it?" And that was my first time bartending for somebody. Privately at their house, and
Just Netflix.
so I mean,
no pressure.
No big deal.
Talk about setting the bar.
right? You
Yeah,
know,
someone's
I
all
didn't-
like,
at the time I didn't know what she was doing, but then I
Can I
found
get
out.
you for my 25th birthday party?
Right.
Cannot Google, Netflix, or Facebook.
Yeah.
But like,
Get out of here!
let me tell you why that's so much pressure. You like you said, you didn't know who she was.
I didn't know who she was.
Right.
Yeah, right.
She just he was just someone that he worked for, and
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
he
Right.
recommended.
But don't
me.
you think sometimes it's better like that? Because then you don't
Yes.
have like that preconceived, like, oh, I gotta rock
gotta
it because it's
be-
Netflix.
Right,
It's,
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes, but sometimes it's good to know ahead of time so you know what you're getting yourself
Yeah.
into. So it's
right.
like it's a little bit of
Both.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
How was that transition? Your first event, like, was it a lot of
yeah.
figuring things out on the
Yeah.
fly? You obviously know how to bartend, but
Right.
it's just all like, there's a difference.
Yeah. There's, Oh yeah.
A restaurant versus just a crowd of people nonstop grabbing them drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a big difference because it's like, you know, at the time, the first time, I'm like, okay, I'm bringing every individual ingredient and I'm gonna make the cocktails from scratch. Now we bash everything, and there is no
Yes,
substitution.
right?
I'm sorry, this is what
Yeah,
it is. This is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean,
This
I
is what
can't
you
do
get.
it. You
Yeah.
know,
Ain't nobody got time for
I
that.
can't
Nope.
do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't do it.
But you know what? Batching has come a long way, right?
yeah.
Batching
Yeah.
people or bartenders or people used to look down on batching, and I'm a queen of batching. I wouldn't survive any other way.
Right.
But when I first started, batching was like so frowned upon, and I never understood. I'm like, it just makes your life.
People are just like,
much
I want to see the
easier.
cocktail
Yeah.
being made.
Right. They want the show a little
Yeah,
bit.
but then they're
But
also
you wanna
like, I don't want to wait for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking choose a battle. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't have it both ways.
We did a tasting this last week. I didn't batch anything because I'm like, no one's going to show up. It's going to be small. It'll be fine. I'll just
Yeah.
make everything to order. And then a ton of people
Fucking
showed up. And I'm
50
like,
people in the
I'm
store.
not used to this pressure.
Scrambling.
I'm like, why didn't I just batch
Vivian's
everything?
biceps were on
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
that day.
Shoulders were on fire.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys stay and hang out. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of figuring out, and then you know, I think, you know, being a bartender behind like a real bar and stuff like that is nice because then you know obviously how to carry yourself as far as hospitality goes, and
Right,
making
right.
sure everything
Very
is
important.
good. So, yeah, I think it's just a lot of just trial and error and figuring things out, and then now I feel like I've gotten it down to a T where it's like I know how to coordinate things, how to build out my sheets, how to build out like, you know, a checklist for everything that
Yeah,
I need.
you
and
gotta
stuff like
process.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Having a storage unit to store everything is important.
Yes.
Storage unit, garage,
Yeah,
yeah,
something
living
like
room. Yeah.
That's cool. And then so when did it become like a thing? Like, okay, yeah, I understand where it's like, okay, you get, you know, a couple of events, people request you this and that, you do it, but then now you started doing it a little bit more often. And I know you're doing things with brands too, where they'll hire you for events
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But like, when did you make that decision? Like, I'm gonna actually like promote myself as a private bartender, or is it mainly word of mouth and people just know you do it?
I think it's been more word of mouth. I
Yeah.
haven't really announced that I've been doing this. I do this as like a thing.
Just
You-
did.
Well,
Right.
I know, there it is now.
So, first
It's out
time
there.
ever, guys, here on Behind the Mobile Bar podcast.
You might have to change your availability.
Well,
Turn that shit off.
Oops.
well, that's the thing. I think since I don't know. Since like it wasn't really like a mobile bartending company, it was just me. So
Right.
I now it's evolved where like if we get events that are more than like a certain amount of people that I can handle by myself, I start reaching out to friends and be like, who I worked with the past, and be, hey, I need some extra hands, I'll pay you, and then I have like a roster of people who I can rely on now if I need extra hands. So
We love those people.
but it's the thing, I still haven't literally fully promoted it on social media. Being like, I do this. If you go to my website, you can see it now.
Right,
It says
right,
book
right.
me for your private events and stuff like that. But yeah, I still need to do that.
Don't worry, we'll get you to do it.
He's a businessman.
No, but it's you know, but it's good because you have multiple things going on. So you do it when it makes sense, right? It could be like chaos if you're getting all this requests, and then now you have to, you know, figure out this post for this day for this brand, and but then you also it's a lot to manage.
Yeah, so I think social media is definitely my main source of income, and then private bartending is like the side hustle, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you
Fun stuff.
get a kick out of like doing the private events?
Yeah, it's good.
Because it's a little bit different, right, than your day to day.
I do because you know, since I'm not at a bar normally, I do miss the social
People.
interaction
Yeah.
and people and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I definitely
The drama,
enjoy it.
the cat fights.
I don't know about that. I don't know what parties that's happening at. But no, I definitely enjoy it because it's like I can provide some like some hospitality to people and stuff like
Right,
that.
right,
And
right.
I personally like doing more intimate events that aren't a lot
Yeah.
of people, where I can definitely give 200% of hospitality to these clients so that
Right.
they are treated like they're getting the best of service ever.
Right.
So,
Great.
and I feel like, you know, when you do that, word of mouth happens. And then that's one client turned into two clients turned into
That's it.
four. And so it's like, I feel like I haven't necessarily promoted myself because I've had these reoccurring
Yeah.
clients come to me for their bartending needs
Yep.
when they need it. So,
Right.
yeah. I mean, and when you have word of mouth happens, that can lead you to celebrities,
Yeah.
things like that. So
Great segue. You're experiential at the end of the day. That's why you like this the smaller events, the 10 people, the 15 people, and it's just like provide an experience for them.
right.
And it gives you the opportunity to do that versus just cranking out cocktails, you know, type of thing. But yeah, great segue for the celebrity bartender. So like how did that happen? When did your first celebrity situation happen? And do you think it had something to do with your social media following and who you are, or it was just happenstance? Like what?
The first one happened from social media because I think they followed me and then they asked me to come bartend their it was like a wedding party, but not a huge party. I think it was just like a couple people and like they're doing brunch and stuff like that at their house. That person was the personal assistant for a personal assistant, I think, or had a connection to Lori Harvey. And then for that was my first celebrity who I bartended for, and that was dope because it was an intimate setting, dinner situation.
Right.
I don't know, like 10, 11, 12 people,
That's
nothing
cool.
too big.
Yeah.
You know, I made, and they had like this like what the fuck is it? This was it Roku LA? These guys who do like strictly private dining for celebrities, and you can only book them from referrals.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
you can't just be able to be like, I want you to come cook for my thing or whatever. They have you. It's referral only. So
Was the food worth it?
oh my god, it was dope.
Dang.
It was sick, and I've like that's like a dream collab to like work with them because they are doing these catering parties
Right.
Yeah.
often.
Right.
But if it happens, it happens. I don't know. I've tried reaching out, so it's whatever.
yeah.
But and that was the first one, and then yeah, I think there's definitely that's the thing. I don't really take too many photos and stuff like that when I'm doing this clientele.
You're in work
Right.
mode.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
that work
No.
mode. That's like I don't know if I don't necessarily need it'd be cool to remember it and just say
Right.
I did it, but it's to show it off and post it on social media. I don't do that. So
Right.
Got it.
when I'm
Yeah.
there, I just
Yeah.
respect
Respect their
Yeah.
privacy.
Right.
confidentiality and stuff like that.
yeah.
That's
too,
the way. That's the way my head 1st
Mhm.
leans into it. These things they're not here to take a bunch of photos,
No.
and they want to have a normal experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean?
point.
Just be
Yeah, that's a
normal
really
in
good
these
point.
situations, and they appreciate that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where you really can connect with these folks,
Yeah.
So, dude, that's fantastic. I remember when we did an event too.
Oh
and it's-
yeah, with Dre.
yeah, with Dre, that was great, and it's funny because Saeed, he knows how to work the bar, and I remember when somebody was trying to come behind the bar and say, he was like, "Hey, look, don't come behind the bar."
This is my
like,
place.
got
This
you.
is,
My
yeah,
boundaries.
come on, man.
Chill.
This is, I got you. I'm gonna take care of you, but just all hey, there's young people and
Right.
stuff like that, and they all want to have fun. But you can tell that Saeed has been in these situations
Right.
before.
Right.
This is probably the Lucky Strike situations or Mr.
Yeah.
Fish, wherever it came from, where he was
Yeah.
you probably tapped right back into that
Well,
real quick.
Well, the funny thing about that party was that we said there was no shots, and then everyone just no
Yeah,
shots, and then
that's
once
literally always how it goes.
but then once
Yeah.
they said shots, floodgates were just
Yep.
Yeah.
all
Yep.
chaos,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
ran out of tequila. I don't forget
Yeah.
what happened. It was just
typical. Yeah.
Right. It was so
running
good.
out of glassware is that was a fun party, but it was
Glassware.
Yeah.
We went on a whole tangent about
Yeah,
glassware
about
last week,
glassware.
didn't we? Oh
Fucking
my
hate
gosh.
glassware.
Yeah, and why we hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Tossware.
Yeah,
Yes.
tossware.
Glassware is the way to go.
Get tossware.
Yeah.
It's just as nice.
Yeah, and I also think one of the things you mentioned, Saeed, was know your worth,
Mhm.
and I really want to kind of harp in on that, especially to the mobile bartending audience. And I remember, there are times where you and I we're working on pricing
Right.
for a client or a prospect or whatever that's looking to get some services, and I remember Saeed, he's all yeah, let's do it at this price, and I'm all oh.
Yeah, really?
I could never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of those. And it's
Clutch
just
your
look,
pearls.
hey, I'm here. I'm here. I do not tell him what to do. I'm
Yeah,
here to
yeah.
support him. And
You're
here's
the
the thing.
broker.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah,
broker.
Price is the
Right,
broker.
Right,
It's
right.
the
And
boozy broker.
so we're talking about it, boom, boom, boom. And then it's one of those where I said it, I'm I'm just crazy. I just don't look. And then boom, books.
Nice.
And not only, here's the thing.
Freaking
That's
rad.
that's the first. That's 35% of it.
Yeah,
As in, and you see
yeah.
where I'm going with this. It books. He knows his worth. It books. That's what we're doing. It books.
well, that's
But
I
then-
wanted to say, well, that's the thing. It's if you charged a lower number and you go do that party, you're just gonna be regretting it, and then you don't want to be in that mode of regret where it's just I definitely should have charged more for this.
Yeah.
This is the amount of work that I'm putting into it
Right.
is this amount, not this amount.
Right. And,
Right.
and that's exactly where I was going. You know your worth. So you knew, and you've been through these experiences before, as what we talked about. Private bartending, working with brands, social media, worth is worth, right? So you've been through the trials and tribulations of figuring out what you're worth.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting that out there. They pay for it. I'm all wow, here we go. and then he shows up, and here's the other 65%. He delivers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Execution.
He delivers.
Yeah.
He delivers on
Yeah.
that worth to where they want to book him again. And they book him again.
Nice. Wow. Yeah.
You know what I
Price.
mean? And
At
this
that
is
price.
No
and what I'm
problem.
what I'm talking about is 10 people, 2 hours, north of $4,000
Wow. That's sick. Yeah.
I
to put on an experience.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing,
Well, it's
like-
an experience.
Yeah.
It's an experience
Yeah.
at that point. And yes, to some people, it may feel how? I don't understand it, but you don't have to understand it. At the end of the day, this is what he is worth, and the market is going to tell you what you're worth. Not only did they just pay for it once, but they did it again. They said, please do it again.
Double down.
I want you to come back. It almost comes to the point where you could
Thank you.
increase your
I was gonna
price.
say, when somebody comes back and they're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'd happily pay for that again."
Right.
You know what that tells me? I should have charged more.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess the message is at the end of the day, just know your worth. Audit yourself, know your worth, stand on it.
Right.
Don't be
Right.
scared, stand on it. And if they did not pay, I promise you, the next client that we work on, he's putting out the same number.
Yeah.
It's not. He's not going to waver on that because he knows what he's worth. They just didn't appreciate what he had to bring to the table.
Right.
Right, and it's okay. That's okay. Not everybody's gonna. Saeed's not for everybody. I'm not for everybody. You're not for everybody. Type of thing. So that's okay with it. But
Yeah, you are.
except for me, I'm for everybody.
Yeah, you are.
But kudos. I thought that was a very cool experience that you and I had because again, I was just all like, oh man, here we go. You know, I'm like, this guy's about to make like 10 cocktails. You know, like let me break that down.
ever.
$4,000 divided by 10, $400 a cocktail.
Yeah.
I was like, that's one hell of a cocktail.
Yeah.
It's gonna give you wings, you know. But I was just all like, dude, that was a great understanding of like, man, this is kudos for you. And again, it's not just you're not overcharging, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You're not. People may think I'm trying to go into a space of he's trying to overcharge for things. That is not the case. He delivered on every penny that somebody is paid, you know, type of thing.
And also, I think like for those of us out there, you know, who you may not be at that level yet.
Right.
Right. So like, I don't think Saeed didn't just start, I'm just charging this price.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Saeed went through the process. You heard his journey from Lucky Strike, you know, to going ahead and working 2 jobs at one time, right? Volunteering your time, you know, to meeting Tipsy Bartender, and then like, you know, really listening to how you still have a curiosity, right? I think, and I think what I've noticed about people who are really, really special is that they have a curiosity about their craft.
That's a growth mindset.
It's a growth. Like, like you're always learning.
Right.
You're always and like you're always experimenting. And experimentation is a process of learning. Right.
Yeah.
And so like you had to earn that right. You know, to get there.
Absolutely.
And you've done that at such you've done that so well, and you've also stayed humble with it.
Very much
right.
so.
You know, you don't come off as the first time I really met you was at Old Hillside. Old Hillside
that's
Lounge.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was the first time
That was a
where
cool
like
event.
it was a super cool event. You know, love those guys. But that was the first time I just hung. It was like me and you, we were just hanging out and we were just talking.
Right.
And I was like, damn,
He's a normal guy. Yeah.
He's a normal guy.
Yeah.
You know, right? You know, and but I had all these preconceived thoughts.
A lot of people do.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're only doing yourself a disservice by coming in with those preconceived thoughts of like, oh, you know, this person's at this level, so they'll never speak to me. Or
that's a
they
good
can't
point.
be a real person. I think Vivio, you've always done a good job of hitting people in the DMs, right? And not being scared to like, hey, I really like what you're doing. Like, can we chat?
Yeah.
You know, and so like, don't be scared.
Yeah.
Like, and Saeed, you said it, right? Don't be scared to DM a brand, you know?
Yeah.
Because somebody's gonna find value in you, right? And there's that perfect connection somewhere.
Yeah. What do you have to lose?
Right.
They say
You know
no.
what I
Okay,
Versus
move
a no,
on.
you move
Yeah.
on. That's
Yeah.
Right.
No.
But
Okay. Thanks.
they
Bye.
might say yes.
Yeah.
And
Cool,
then
meet
it
a cool
could be game
motherfucker like
changing.
Saeed.
Yeah, it could be game
Yeah.
changing. No, I love it. I love it. You know, I want to go to, we're going to do 2 quick things, which is great. One, I want to get a couple of like words of advice and stuff from you, but then we're also going to do this quick fire. We normally have the question corner.
We do have
but we're going to
question
do
corner.
a quick fire
Yeah.
question like
Ooh,
from
get
Vivian, which I think will be good. But before that, like,
Puppies or kittens?
right. Yeah, right. But before that, we live in a day and age of social media, right? And, you know, everyone's doing it. You know, it's almost required in a way if you have a business or anything of that nature. Like, what advice would you give bartenders that are trying to build a personal brand? You know, it's almost like CJ's question, like, what advice would you give yourself that's going in that direction? But I guess, like, for now and these days now, what advice would you give these people?
Just post the content. Be yourself. Post the content and then find your audience will find you. I think, and then when your audience does, build and give back to that community. There's one thing that I have kind of neglected sometimes is my community, and just like sometimes I feel like you can be so involved in what you want to be posting and what you want to be doing. But at the end of the day, you do have to be of service to other people too. So pay attention to what your audience wants. Ask them questions like, hey, what content do you guys want from me? What do you want to learn? Things like that. I've been guilty of not doing that. And I'm trying to like come back and like, feed my community and stuff like that. So don't do what I did and neglect your community.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is. It's just like you have all the tools that you need to start all of this. So shoot your content. It doesn't have to shoot your content with your phone. It doesn't have to be over polished.
Mhm.
Right.
Over polished stuff may look great, but at the end of the day, you're spending thousands of dollars on equipment that you don't need when you have something in your hand that you can physically shoot it with.
Right.
And then be yourself. It's easier to be yourself because if you're being somebody else, then you're gonna have to continue that persona all throughout your journey as your brand. So you don't want to do that, because if you do want to evolve, you're gonna have to change that persona. So try to be yourself as much as possible. And like I said, just build your community. The community is what's gonna give you the wings and the support to get these brand deals. Because if you have, or necessarily if you engage with your community and your following and stuff like that, those are the ones that are gonna be the ones that support you and your passion and your dreams to be doing things with other brands and stuff like that.
Right.
So I've learned a lot of things the hard way.
Yeah.
But I do believe that community and engagement with your following is top tier number one.
That's huge, man.
Yeah, it is
Yeah, because I think you answered my follow-up question already, which was more so of the folks that do jump into the space that want to create their personal brand. How do you know the ones that are just doing it for a buck or thinking that they should just do it versus the ones who really make it happen, who are, and it sounds like there's some authenticity that's there, that you got to truly kind of be yourself. Those are the ones that kind of separate. But is there anything else you want to add to that? Separating, because there's a lot of people trying to do this.
Right.
And for example, there's a lot of people that enter the NBA.
Right.
But there's only a few LeBron James and Steph Currys and stuff like that. So the folks that really kind of make it in this space, what's the difference between them and people that are jumping into it?
I think another thing too about it is Gary Vee is completely right about this. It's it's not necessarily the quality, it's the quantity. And you just keep pumping out stuff, because you just need to, the more stuff you put out, obviously more people are going to see you, but it's the quality doesn't necessarily have to be the best. And so you can be in your head so much about just oh, this doesn't look good, whatever, but I think you should just post it and then show how you are human. Perfection doesn't have to be a thing. I'm super critical of myself and perfection and shit like that. And being a Virgo and a perfectionist is not my strong suit. So it's hard for me to be I don't think this is ready. Like I said, I have so many videos that are in the pipeline that I just never posted because I didn't think it was ready. But I need to fight that battle within myself to be I just need to post it. And if the audience likes it, they like it. If they don't like it, whatever. I'm still here. I'm still me. And it's it's whatever. I mean, I saw something dope in this video, and if people don't like it, I shouldn't be hurt about it.
Right.
So it's literally just fucking post the content and do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're just gonna be sitting there wondering what if, and you don't want don't want those regrets.
Yeah. Dude,
very cool.
Freaking solid. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
So good, man.
You're all
So good, dude. I
Deep
love
in
it.
feelings now.
Virgo, what's your
You
birthday?
can't leave me hanging though, bro.
26th.
Oh, I know. Hold on.
can't
So
leave me
you're
hanging,
leaving,
bro.
leaving Ryan
Oh,
hanging.
I didn't see it,
Yeah. You know that's gonna be the short clip, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be over here
Clink.
yeah. No, I love it. Quickfire corner.
Okay, quickfire corner. Quickfire corner with Viv. So we used to ask people, what was your biggest fuck up? But I think we're moving on from the biggest fuck up.
Right. That was true. That was a good episode.
That was a good
We had a
episode.
whole episode about
yeah, we had a
fuck-ups.
whole episode of that.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna do. There's a lot of F-bombs in that
There's
video.
a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we touched on celebrities.
Okay.
But if you could bartend for any celebrity, who would it be, and what drink would you make them?
celebrity. Any celebrity, I would have to say Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
Damn, that's a good one.
That's
I was not
great
expecting
one.
that.
That is a good
Oh,
one.
I think-
man.
Why?
I think
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle because the man's intelligent as shit, but he's
Really?
also funny as shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's like-
He'd be cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can get some like knowledge nuggets from him and just be like some life like core values and stuff like that. And especially being a businessman himself, he can tell you a lot as well. But also, he's a funny motherfucker. So it's like
Oh
you
my
get some
gosh,
you get some
And
good
musical,
jokes.
very
Yeah.
musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what I would
He is
drink,
very
I would
musical.
make him.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like for some reason, my mind's telling me like a whiskey ginger, just something
Okay.
simple. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
No
know. I don't want to
frills and-
overcomplicate it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he drinks. I'm not even sure if he drinks.
Yeah.
But
I
if
know
he
he
is,
smokes.
it's
He
like
smokes
He
cigarettes.
smokes.
Yeah.
if he does drink, I feel like if he was like at a comedy club, it's like you get like that's what you would get. I don't know if I
Yeah.
would try to elevate it of some sort, but that's probably along the lines of it. Something whiskey based. I think.
Very cool.
Love it.
Alrighty, next. What is your favorite cocktail to make?
My favorite cocktail to make.
This is different to what you like to drink.
I-
Right? It's like to
Right.
make.
Mhm.
Right.
Girl, something
I-
with 2 ingredients that I can pump out in 15 seconds.
Quite opposite. I'm gonna say a mojito because a mojito can be fucked up so many ways.
Yes.
And as someone who is Virgo based and likes attention to detail,
Mm.
I would do that because you can really show your level of expertise if you craft a very good mojito.
Yeah.
So
I love-
not over pulverizing your mints, gently pressing it down, adding your lime, your lemon, or your lime, your simple syrup, your rum, pebble ice, soda water, swizzle it up, garnish it pretty with a nice fucking bouquet of mint. I
Yeah.
think that's what I would do is a mojito. I like taking my time with that one.
I love it. I love it.
answer.
Okay.
Good answer.
What is your dream brand collab?
Well,
Yeah.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
I think we touched base on that earlier. Tresemme.
come on, Tresemme.
Tresemme, we're waiting.
Make this man's dreams come true.
if there was an alcohol brand
If
out
there's
there,
an alcohol
Yeah.
brand, dream alcohol brand. I don't know if I can put anything on my map because it's like they're all great. There's nothing that I'm like head over heels for, and it definitely changes from season to season of what I'm
Right.
drinking.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
necessarily. I don't think I have a dream alcohol brand that I would want to work with.
Got it. Shampoo it is. Shampoo and conditioner. What is your
Head and
biggest
shoulders.
bartending pet peeve?
People
People trying to get behind your bar.
Yeah, people touching my garnishes. Get your hands out of my
That was
garnishes.
it. I remember
gosh,
that.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was
Grabbing olives.
Why do they think it's
Yeah.
just a
no,
snack
there's
tray?
such a great story behind this. So we got Saeed booked to do 2 mixology classes for Amazon, and that
Wow.
was such a great experience. Even though it was a little bit of a shit show because we have so many, so many things to set up, and I for sure didn't have enough people there to do it. But we figured it out, and it was good. Saeed got his hands dirty. We
And you
made
set
it
the
all
cooler
done.
somewhere else.
Yeah, but when we set it all up and and everything was going and people were there, and now it's Saeed. He's doing his thing. You did such an exceptional
I
job
appreciate
with that.
that. Thank you.
But one of the things, and he made it more humane, was one of his pet peeves, and it was exactly that. Don't touch my garnishes. Like, get your hands out of my. Why are you touching my
Yeah.
garnishes? Like,
I hate when people
that's a
come
big.
by,
That's
yeah.
a pretty big pet peeve. Like, why would you do that though?
Yeah.
Right.
Can-
You know?
I'm hungry. Can I just get a pineapple? No.
Yeah.
Wait till after
Oh
the
my
ceremony.
God.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes, can I just get like a cup of cherries?
No, I don't.
That was so good.
Not feeding you?
Yeah, right.
Just pop.
Dig in your bag. There's something in your bag. Okay, what is your morning routine after a late event?
Oh.
Morning routine after a late event. If we're talking like, I don't know, going to bed at 3 or 4, it's like wake up. I'm definitely probably gonna sleep in.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Fair.
Not waking up at 7. I'm gonna depending and post a late event. You know, I typically don't really drink at my bartending events because I like to be professional and stuff like that. I may have like a drink at the end of the thing, but I'm not getting fucked up. So definitely not gonna be hungover. Maybe it's go to the gym. Maybe it's going to run. And then I'm going to eat the same breakfast I eat every single day, which is just egg whites, turkey bacon or turkey sausage, a piece of toast, some berries, and maybe just a bowl of mixed greens. I've been incorporating greens in my things every day. Though that's my
That's your jam.
go-to breakfast.
Consistency.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like I eat like a big breakfast and then a big dinner. I don't really do
Eat in
lunch
between.
too much.
Yeah.
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 Maybe snack during the midday, but
So no Taco Bell.
a late night? No, Chelsea is.
Good. Someone's got to keep you in check.
Hey,
Someone's got to keep you
hey,
on check. Me, on the other hand, I'm actually going to Taco Bell right after this.
Fair enough.
All right. Signature move behind the bar. Do you have a signature move?
Signature move behind the bar? I don't think I've not in Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I guess that is okay. Fair enough.
Lana threw him out a clue
When
here.
She's over
What
here
was
dancing.
it? I missed
What's
it.
going
Yeah.
on over here?
I do like to shake 3 tins at once.
Oh, that's right.
That is the thing.
I remember you did at that Hawk Media
risque.
event. We got
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. You got cocktails by Hawk at the Hawk
Hawk
Media
Media.
event. Yeah, that was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
so
And you did
cool.
the 310. That was really cool.
Yeah,
3-tin
that's about
shake.
it. And like, you know, I can have, you know, I can bump out 6 cocktails at a time if I do that. It is more of a showy thing because I got big hands, so it's like
Yeah, I don't.
doing that.
impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby hands.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that going very wrong.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's just, just
Yeah, doing that or like, you know, doing mixing 2 mixing glasses per hand, so you're doing 4 at a time.
Wow.
That's that musician
Or
talent right there.
Yeah, it's
3
gotta
with
be.
or 3 mixing yaris with one hand. That's
Oh,
the
wow.
thing. Yeah, so we did.
Nope, not there.
My hands don't work like that.
Yeah, your hand is
Yeah.
definitely contorted. It's like
Oh.
You get like a cramp, carpal tunnel by the end of the night.
Yeah, I know. That was like arthritis.
it's like
to
you're
me.
throwing up
my-
gang
take
signs.
my strong hand. That is too cool. That
Oh.
is awesome. Very awesome.
This is great. Well,
Yeah.
man, you crushed those questions.
Yeah.
Man,
Like
this,
That's it. That was
Yeah.
good.
Right.
Damn.
Oh,
Okay,
easy.
good.
I thought he was gonna break a sweat, man.
Right.
It was
No, you
good.
answered those quick.
No, guys, this was fantastic. Man, we can't wait. I want to have a part 2 one
Yeah, I
of these
feel like this
days.
is short.
I
I
think
feel
yeah.
like there's a lot of
Right.
things
We've
we
been
didn't talk
talking
about.
for
We
hours.
could. Well,
Yeah.
I guess, before, I'll close out, but is there anything you want your audience to know or anything in particular that it could be anything, dude? Like,
Believe in yourself.
there you go. I love it.
Like I said, you like imposter system syndrome
Yep.
is
Yep.
a thing, and I truly think that like you just need to be your biggest supporter and your biggest fan, and to push through and do things. Because there's a lot of doubt sometimes that will creep in, and I think you just need to push through that and just know that at the end of the day you'll be fine. Just pump out, just keep doing the work and keep giving the best of service to people that you can as the highest quality, I guess. Just don't doubt yourself because you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I've learned a lot working with you, Saeed. One of the things that you mentioned to me is that I think more so like in passing, but it's when you create content, you put it out there. You're not really too concerned about the results.
You can't be worried about the numbers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You
really
just
can't.
you just let that thing happen. You let it ride, and you're happy with the product and the process that you create,
Right.
and then that's it. Let the results be the results. You're on to the next type of thing. And I think that's key, going back to what you're saying, because a lot of people can live in that result world, and it's just
Right.
hovering around their head. And why didn't it do well? This and that. There's you got to learn and improve and all that stuff. So that's good, and I think it's healthy. But it can be very unhealthy, right? If you're living in that space too much.
Yeah.
Saeed, where people can find you, like what's your jam, what's all your handles, all that good stuff.
Cocktails by Hawk on everything. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, website,
It's a great website name. I show a lot of people that in my onboarding calls.
Facebook, Pinterest. Not on there, but I'm on there.
Facebook, we're going back.
Hey.
Yeah, everywhere. Cocktails by Hawk on everything. All
There you
one
go.
word, no
Awesome.
underscore, things like that. So
Love it, man. We appreciate you.
Hell yeah,
Thank
You
you.
guys
Thank
tune
you.
in for the
Thank
next
you.
one. I think this
yeah,
is
we're gonna
great.
need a part 2. I feel
Yes.
like
Yeah,
I
part
think we
2
need
for
a-
Done.
sure.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah, for sure.
This time we'll fly you up.
Oh, for
Yeah,
real.
that's it.